This is West African Voice Network.
Hello and many thanks for joining us on Newswave on West African Voice Network. I am Fatima Ibrahim. We kick off today's edition in Ghana as President Mahama pledges 1,000 university scholarships for ECOWAS students. President John Dramani Mahama has announced that Ghana will offer 1,000 scholarships to university students from across the ECOWAS sub-region as part of efforts to strengthen regional ties through education and shared experiences. The president made the announcement at the launch of ECOWAS's 50th anniversary celebration held in the capital Accra on Tuesday.
Let us position our sub-region ECOWAS not only as a political and economic bloc, but as a diplomatic anchor for the continent, a model of integration, dialogue, and peaceful coexistence. To mark this moment and strengthen regional bonds, Ghana is offering 1,000 scholarships to tertiary students from across the ECOWAS sub-region to study in our universities. This is not just a gesture, it is an act of solidarity. It is a bridge to a future where our young people will grow up seeing each other not as foreigners, but as partners.
Meanwhile, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Aliyu Toure, announced a 25-year master plan aimed at transforming the region's infrastructure with an estimated investment of $131 billion.
ECOWAS has a promising regional energy and infrastructure programs. The community has developed a 25-year master plan which comprises 201 regional projects covering all member states. These have been estimated to cost about $131 billion. The four key sectors covered are transport, energy, telecommunication, and water resources.
The event, held under the theme celebrating 50 years of West African unity and integration, brought together heads of state, senior government officials, and representatives of the ECOWAS Commission. We head now to Burkina Faso as authorities foil another coup plot involving military officers. The Burkinabe government announced on Monday that it had thwarted a coup attempt involving several active and former military personnel. In a statement read on RTV, a national television, Security Minister Mahama said intelligence services intercepted communications between a soldier and armed group leaders. The leaked information included sensitive details on troop positions and planned operations. The main suspect, Lieutenant Abdurrahman Bari, who was already being prosecuted for desertion, was reportedly linked to a network of military collaborators aimed to overthrow the presidency on April 16, 2025.
Ont été passés aux terroristes en vue d'accentuer les attaques contre les forces combattantes.
Sensitive information was passed on to terrorists to identify attacks against combat forces and civilians in an effort to incite a revolt against the authorities. Other strategies were also developed to mislead the intelligence services, encouraging mass arrests within defense and internal security forces in the hope of creating frustration and a sense of fear. Manipulation also took place through messages spread to unjustly arouse suspicion in some, and others sent to corps commanders to frighten them, suggesting they were on a so-called blacklist. Religious and traditional leaders were approached to convince some officers to participate in this deadly mission.
Arrêtés car étant sur une soi-disant liste noire.
Senior officers such as Captain Wani Kampore and Major Constantine Kabore were implicated, with some suspects fleeing to Côte d'Ivoire. We move now to Benin, where Al-Qaeda affiliate group claims responsibility for fatal attacks on Benin military sites. JNIM, a militant group affiliated with Al-Qaeda, has claimed responsibility for last week's fatal assaults on two military installations in northern Benin, which resulted in the loss of lives of at least 70 service members. In a statement released over the weekend via its media channels, the group described its coordinated operation against 2 army posts near Benin's borders with Burkina Faso and Niger. Along with the statement, images were published showing captured military gear. This includes heavy-duty weapons, drones, rocket systems, and more than 300 ammunition units. The equipment appears to include models originally manufactured in the United States and China. While Benin's military has not issued a formal public response, internal security sources have confirmed substantial casualties and noted that backup units have been sent to the region to reinforce stability. This is not the first time the group has launched such an operation in the area. In January, a similar offensive and another military outpost led to the loss of at least 28 personnel. And to news from across the sub-region, investigation launched into alleged assassination attempt on South Africa's deputy president. South African authorities have confirmed an investigation is underway following an alleged assassination attempt targeting Deputy President Paul Mashatile. The incident occurred earlier this month while the Deputy President's convoy was en route from a high-level meeting of the ruling African National Congress. According to the Deputy President Mashatile, the attack took place in Bosberg, located in the eastern suburb of Johannesburg, shortly after the ANC's National Executive Committee meeting. No injuries were reported and the convoy continued safely to its destination. At this time, no suspects have been identified and the motive behind the attacks remains unclear. Mashatile's spokesperson, Keith Koza, stated that the information was withheld initially to avoid public panic and allow the investigation to proceed without disruptions. Authorities are now working to uncover the details behind the attack, with security concerns around high-ranking officials under renewed focus. Further updates are expected as the investigation develops. And with that, we've come to the end of today's edition of Newswave on West African Voice Network. For more news from across the region and beyond, visit wavn.org. You can also interact with us via our social media platforms X, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at WAVN News, and on TikTok and YouTube at West African Voice Network. I am Fatima Ibrahim. Thank you for your time.